Muy buenos días, ministros,
Good
compañeros
morning, fellow
del
ministers
cuerpo místico de creyentes de
of the
este
mystical
tiempo final,
body
de
of
nuestra edad,
believers
la
of
edad de
this
la piedra
end
angular y nuestra
time,
dispensación, la dispensación
of
del
our
reino.
age, the age of the cornerstone, the dispensation of the kingdom. It is truly a great blessing and a privilege to be able to, through the audio, on this occasion of today, Monday, January 20th of this year, 2025. Greetings to the Reverend Andres Cruz Gallegos, there in Tizayuca, where you are with, there in this important meeting today, Monday, 20th of January of this year, 2025. For which I want to read a portion of the scripture in the book of the prophet Daniel in chapter 9 verse 24 and onwards, where it tells us 70 weeks are determined upon the people, upon thy people and upon thy holy city, to finish the transgression and to make the end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy. You must hurry. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the measure the prince. We are in, let's take a little break here, or pause. I was going to tell you where we were, but since, well, the arrival of him to the White House is being projected, the arrival of the President Donald Trump, I am at the inauguration of President Donald Trump. Let's wait for it to come down a little bit as he gets off, because there's going to be a little bit of noise. Now, the president for sure is going to come in. Well, it's going to come out now. Let's continue with where we are reading, where we had stopped. There is the vice president and his wife. Now we'll continue here in chapter 9 of Daniel, where we had stopped. It says, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the measure of the prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in the troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall measure be cut off, but not for himself and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be a flood, and unto the end of the world desolation are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause sacrifice and oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. You may take your seats. Today, as I was saying here, we are at the inauguration of the President-elect Donald Trump. And something very curious, in 1985 and 1985, the second public inauguration of the President-elect Ronald Reagan was inaugurated in the Capitol Arena. In other words, here in the same place where we are, because on that occasion, it was due to the strong weather conditions. And this time, you see, 40 years later, in the second inauguration of Donald Trump, it is also moved inside the Capitol Arena due to all this polar vortex and extreme cold that we have here. Now, you see, and something is moving in a divine program. And all that the seventh seal is carrying out is being carried out in a secret way. In other words, you notice in yesterday's message he talked about it, and he was telling me not to trust anyone And he was telling me, those you have next to you, be careful, because not all of them can be trusted. And as I was telling you, he was keeping them by his side, so that they would not do harm. But the time was going to come when those reaping angels were going to make that separation, that segregation. And you notice everything that the seventh seal would be carrying out would be put more and more in secret. And the time would come when only the instrument is the one who knows the things that are being carried out, and would be carried out in the full fulfillment of the 10th vision. In other words, that training, like the training that Elijah gave to Elisha, see? He spoke about it in yesterday's message, which is a very important message, because it shows us everything that God would be carrying out in this end time. And as Elijah there taught him, prepared him, educated him to continue the work, the labor, the divine program to Elisha in this end time. You notice how the Holy Spirit, who would come incarnate, would be teaching that instrument from his birth, all that process. See how he taught that instrument in all facets, and the instructions and everything pertaining to this end time. To whom did he say it? He said it to only to him. That is why he said to me, be aware of everything that is going to be taking place. Only you are the one who knows, and you are the only one who knows. Don't trust anybody. Look, he said it yesterday in the message of yesterday. He says, after the stage of the 10th vision, the work here on earth, of the church on earth, will be finished, and so that there will be no imitations as there were at the time of the seventh angel messenger, who said how those other two stages were, and many friends of his appeared imitating him. That is why he said, as we say, there are no friends. That is, there he speaks of the third pole. There are no friends there. Whoever is given the sword, keep it well and do not lend it to any other person. And that's what he said to me that night. You have the sword and don't lend it to anybody or give it to anybody. And the sword is the word. It is the revelation. That is why the third pole will not talk about how it is working and how that manifestation will fully work in the little room. Only the one who has that sword is the one who knows how everything is being carried out. In other words, he prepared me very well. Of that, be sure. That's why he said, there are no friends. Whoever is given the sword, keep it well and do not lend it to anyone else. And he is not going to lend that sword to anyone. Therefore, many have wanted to know and attempt that ministry to speak more clearly. They have said, but how does this work? And how does this, the other? They won't be able to get anything out. Because as Brother Branham said, if you get the revelation and keep quiet, the devil can't know all that he is doing in this end time. Now he says there, and he's not going to lend that sword to anyone. He's not going to let other people know what is or anything else. That's why there are things which I will not be able to speak, but I will leave them reserved in my heart, and I will act and do things according to how he will guide me, and I will not lend the sword to anyone, because in the third pole, which is the part where everything that is promised will take place, just like the resurrection and the transformation. For that to happen, there is a way, there is a mechanism which will not be told to anyone. He won't tell anyone. As it happened in the first pole and the second pole, he started narrating it to his friends, and look, it caused many imitations. But in the third pole, that instrument is already well instructed, and he will not say anything to anyone. He says, and he's not going to lend that sword to anyone. He will not lend anyone, he will not let anyone know what it is or anything to other people, because close friends of the Reverend William Branham knew about those first two stages. They imitated him, and people, instead of looking at the ministry of the Reverend William Branham, they looked at other people, and then that brought many problems in the midst of Christianity, in the midst of the Laodicean church age. You see what has happened in this time. You see, although not everything has been made known openly, Even so, the enemy has seen some little things, and people have diverted their attention to some leaders that you see that they even transmit from their congregations. That is an imitation of what God is carrying out, of what God said would be the fulfillment of the 10th vision, and from the great cathedral, or from the place where the ministry is, it would be transmitted. And see how they are impersonations pretending to be the real thing, as if that is right, when it is wrong. That is a perversion. It's an imitation of the real thing. But it had to be like that, because in the ages he imitated, and he said that in this time he would do it, although he could not imitate 100%, but 99%. And why 99? Because they have the message, and they can put it, they can speak, they can say, they can expose some things, make studies and everything, but only they cannot have, in other words, they only have the message, but they do not have the most important thing, the ministries, the fulfillment of the 7th seal, the fulfillment of the angel that was different from the rest, as simple as that. Now look here what he says. And the angel himself told him, he said, of the third pole, he said, of this you shall tell no one nothing. And that he told it to me, you are not going to say anything about this to anyone. Therefore the fulfillment is going to be carried out as it has been carried out. It is a work of prudence, a work in prudence, in secrecy, because he comes for his bride as a thief in the night, and he comes in secret. That is why many will not understand, they will not comprehend, and rather they will continue trying to deceive the elect, because they have the message, because this or that, but the elect will not be deceived. Only those who are going to be transformed and raptured are not going to be deceived. And they are the ones who are going to receive this last manifestation, and they are receiving it, which is the glorious thing. They are preparing for that glorious event of the resurrection and the transformation. And the angel himself told him, he said to him, of the third pole, he said, of this we shall say nothing to no one. He said, of this there shall be no imitations, because the devil knows not what it is. The devil imitates when he discovers what it is. But the devil, since he does not know all that mystery of the third pole, of the 7th seal, all that apparently is an entanglement. So it is better let him think that it is an entanglement, so that he does not understand anything. And so it is with many people, you see. They are all entangled, and they throw here and throw there, because they do not know how the fulfillment of the 10th vision is. But the elect do, and they see and are catching that revelation, and they are keeping quiet, because they are seeing the fulfillment of that promise. Now remember that the sword is the word, and the sword is said in the book of the seals on page 558, that God would allow him to give that sword to another who would be honest and carrying the truth. In other words, there is only one truth, and that sword has two edges. Remember the writing we read, which is the truth, and that sword is the word, and it has two edges. That is the two truths. That is one side on the other, Moses and Elijah. In other words, always by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Now the 2 witnesses are Revelation 11, which are the 2 olive trees, Moses and Elijah. He continues saying, and the one who will have the sword in his hand, which is the third pole, which is the 7th seal, and all these things, see, he was told that the sword was the third pole, that the thunder was the third pole, and the 7th seal also, all that, and the 10th vision and the little room, all that is the third pole. There is the entrance door and an exit door in the little room, and there will be the pillar of fire. There is an exit door and an entrance door into the little wooden room, and there will be the pillar of fire. Now see how that door, which is Christ in his second coming, through which every elect must enter. Whoever does not enter through that door cannot see the things that will be taking place inside that door. In other words, inside the most holy place. Now, in Mexico, now for the 23rd of March of this year 2025, we will be in that service, which we expect great blessings from behalf of God. And God will continue to fulfill the prophecies corresponding to this third pole. The third pole is the 7th seal. It is the sword in the hand of that instrument. Now remember, and I emphasize, in this third poll, since nothing will be said to anyone, it is a third poll where there are no friends. In other words, how is it being done and how is everything being carried out? There are no friends for that instrument because it is a complete secret. It is not that he does not want to tell the elect, but only they will have the knowledge as far as God allows them to have that knowledge. So therefore, be very careful, have ears. There I cannot tell you ears of unbelief for those people who try to divert the message and the word, and focus on following the angel who was different from the rest, the seventh seal in his fulfillment. Today, our brother, the Reverend Andres Cruz Gallegos, already has the guidelines of everything that is missing there, and what you have to do. So I leave that part to him, so that he can carry out all this service. And I already told him how everything will be carried out in this service. So he will be there telling you all the details. We are already here in the inauguration. As I told you, so I am saying goodbye, and all this besides being here in this inauguration, there are other things that are going to be taking place here. So pray very much that everything continues to go according to the divine program. And remember to be prudent and not to give attention, not to give your ears to anyone who tries to deviate, to distort the word. Now remember one thing, that is where the unbelievers, the Dathans, the Abirams and Korah are identified. Who are those who are against the divine program, those spirits from age to age and from dispensation to dispensation. You, God's elect, focus on the fulfillment and preparation for your transformation. May God bless you and keep you all.